Hello and welcome to Talkin Jake. Myself, Jake Storielli, BBD. We are talking the wide world of sports. Baseball, we are less than a week away from knowing the playoff matchups. Week and a day away from the first playoff baseball game of the year. This is why we do it. From spring training till now, every team profile and projection. We're going to do the baseball conversation. Did a little bit of around talking baseball, the AL Central and the teams there flunking the dunk / controlling their own destiny, the fun parts of it, the bad parts of it. On the other side, Mets and Braves are playing this week to essentially see where that wild card race is going to land. I don't know. I guess I could do some Ohtani Judge for clicks just because I'm mad about people commenting on it. And it was a big football weekend that continues tonight with 2 Monday Night Football games. Get jazzy for that. Let's get into it. The baseball conversation. And if I came in a little low there, it's because I wanted the topic that was different. It feels weird when I do Talkin Jake that's eerily on the nose to talking baseball, but it's that time of year. There's 1 week left. The conversations are the conversations. And let's do some snaps for my Yankees. We'll do an MLB around the horn. Taken. Snaps for my Yankees. They are 6 games up on the Baltimore Orioles. They're going to win the American League East, barring 6 straight losses and 6 straight Oriole wins, which, if that happens, get ready for some good content. The Yankees have won the American League East. Happy for them. It's a weird year. There won't be a 100-win team in baseball. So, I don't know. Everything's felt a little off. The Yankees, God, there was 2 months there, a month and a half, where the Yankees were playing around 500 baseball where it didn't feel like things were clicking. The Orioles have been worse. The Orioles have been under 500 since the deadline. They have some real questions. The Tigers beat them this weekend. Talk about them in a second. Baltimore is I think they're one of the teams I'm most interested to track the rest of the way. The Yankees are the Yankees, and it's going to be a big test of their it's Soto, Judge, Stanton. There's some ancillary parts around that. Some will have good series, some will have bad. It is Cole, Rodon, Heel, with a mix of Luke Weaver, Tommy Kahnle, some other guys in the bullpen. The Yankees are the Yankees. They're going to roll it out there. Yankee fans should be more excited. I can't tell if it's just we've been so hurt in recent years that we're scared to get excited, or maybe it's just that Houston's lurking. But the Yankees have been the best team in the American League. They're 2.5 games up on Cleveland, 3 in the loss column for the 1 seed. An important 1 seed, too, to stay away from Houston, just in case they look like Houston, which they probably will. The Orioles, man, they just activated 2 guys. Ramon Urias. Is he a Urias? And Jordan Westberg. Jordan Westberg was really good with them while he was playing this year. I think he was even all JM at third base the first month of the season. They are plugging him right back into the top of their lineup. They need him to go, and they need someone else to click, whether that's Rushman, whether that's Cowser, whether it's whoever. Their lineup has felt like it's been missing a piece for a while. They still have Corbin Burns, who has been one of the best pitchers in baseball. His last start was good. He'll have one last tune-up against the New York Yankees. So, Yankees in the coming week, they're going to see Corbin Burns. They're going to see Eflin. They're going to see Paul Skeens. So it's going to be interesting. In games that kind of don't matter for them, you wonder if that's a good thing. They're going to see some playoff level pitching. It's also, I don't know, it's kind of a little, you have to do some mental gymnastics because you're like, it's good they're seeing that, but I don't know if Paul Skeens pitches well against them. Is that bad?
Are they in a bad headspace after? You'd have to think No.
It is the time of year that I think that baseball mentality of being able to wash things off. If something goes wrong, you're going to have to wash it quick. If something goes well, don't wash that quick. But then if it starts to change, you do have to, because that brings us to the beautiful American League Central. The Guardians have been delightful this year. Fantastic. They are 90-67. A team that had low expectations coming into the year. You know about the bullpen at this point if you've been listening to this. They've got options down there. The starting pitching come playoff time is going to be interesting. I have no idea what they're going to do. Bybee, you think, would be their one. Cantillo has been pitching well lately. Ben Lively's there. Matthew Boyd. I wonder if they can play matchups. If there's a team that's bad versus lefties, can they throw lefties out there? Interested to see how they do all of that. Meanwhile, Jose Ramirez is still Jose Ramirez. And just a lot of their young guys. Kyle Manzardo might be a name we talk about a lot this postseason. He's been batting second for them the past half week or so. And Angel Martinez leading off. You guys have that? That's a 22-year-old switch-hitting left fielder, an Angel Martinez, who played third base on Sunday. And Kyle Manzardo, who's been DHing as a 24-year-old. The Guardians. If you think you know what they're going to do this postseason, I would love to hear it. Because I don't think they know. I don't think they know, but I think they're going to get a bye.
Oh, wow. Ron Marinaccio claimed by the White Sox.
God damn it. First Davey, now this. Let's get to the actual juice. Because if the playoffs started today, the storyline is the Detroit Tigers would be in. They would be the 6th seed with the Kansas City Royals being the 5. That means the Minnesota Twins, who there was a point where they had one of the best 3-month splits in baseball. And we laughed when we did their exercise the other day because it's like, wait, have they been playing without their 3 best players? They have their 3 best players back, and they've been playing a bad brand of baseball. Luckily for them, so have the Kansas City Royals. And it's unbelievable to look at the standings and see the Royals and the Tigers with the exact same record. Royals have the tiebreaker over them, so they would be ahead of them right now. That's an L7 for the Royals. 7 straight losses heading towards the postseason. 2-8 in their last 10. The Baltimore Orioles are 3-7 in their last 10. The Minnesota Twins are 3-7 in their last 10. The Tigers are fun. We are in an interesting point of the year where the expanded wild card, you could debate whether it's good or bad. It's starting to feel like 2 bad teams are going to kind of get in, depending how these central teams round out. It sucks how good the Royals story was. That rotation, Ursich in the back of the bullpen. And now our guy Lynch has been twirling it well down there. And you were going to have a starter kick to the bullpen. And, man, Kansas City's a baseball town, and they believe in the top of the lineup. The Vinny Pasquantino injury has been heartbreaking for them. Just brutal. L7 as them, the Tigers and Twins try to limp into this playoffs. The Twins have the tiebreaker over both, so they just need to get equal with them. They are currently 1 game behind both of them. The Detroit Tigers are fun. I can't tell you it's a playoff brand of baseball. I can't tell you what it means at all. I can tell you they have a bunch of kids in their starting lineup. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They currently have 6 starters who are 25 or under in their lineup. Tarek Skubal's going to win the Cy Young, so that's cool. And it would be cool to see him on a big stage in a 3-game set. You got to deal with this for one day. They have a good bullpen. Everything else, I mean, give me their 3rd best player. It's an exercise I did with the Royals. The Royals, it's Bobby Witt, Salvi. It was Vinny Pasquantino. Now we're debating between Michael Massey, Tommy Pham, Freddie Fermin, 2 catchers. For the Tigers, Kerry Carpenter is great. He mauls, man. Love that. Riley Green, climbing was one of the best players in baseball lists. I mean, your third best player might be Matt Vierling, Colt Keith. Just a reminder, if you do this exercise with the Houston Astros, you have Alex Bregman 4. I don't know. They are young. They're playing fun. The new phrase I've stumbled into is they are the hunters, not the hunted. They're young. They don't care. They finished with 3 against the White Sox. That it feels like the Tigers, who Fangraphs have at a 71% chance to get in, if they just handle their business or survive Tampa for 3, Tampa playing for nothing, and Skubal does start that first game, the Detroit Tigers are going dancing, which would line them or whoever out of the Central comes out. Well, the low man will play Houston, go to Houston, so nobody wants that. The other team goes to Baltimore, and Baltimore couldn't hold serve there last year, and they've been playing poorly. That whoever gets matched up with them, they're going to be feeling pretty good. They're going to be feeling pretty damn good. I mean, Skubal Corbin, game 1 for like all the marbles. That would be interesting. Twins are just kind of a disaster class, and I don't know what to do. Trevor Plouffe tried to warn us, and I don't think anyone believed. They have Miami and Baltimore at home to finish this thing off. I mean, they're just going to need some big boy performances down the stretch. Bailey Ober with 2 starts and Pablo with 1. They kind of need all 3 of those. Otherwise, it's Simeon Woods, Richardson, David Festa, Zebby Matthews. And then their lineup, which I've been fooled by this year, it either feels like everyone can hit or nobody can hit. Buxton, Larnach, Correa, Wallner, Royce Lewis, Willie Castro, Santana. I don't know. It's a weird team. Trevor, who's normally one of the more positive guys, / also just about the Twins, hasn't been about the Twins for a while, and look where they've ended up. Below the Royals in the standings, and the Royals just need to win a damn ball game, but they've failed at that the last 7 times. The Central's pretty ugly. I think consensus, and I don't know if this is popular or unpopular, and having talked to Jimmy a couple times about it now, but how much the Chicago White Sox are going to depict the final 2 playoff spots is kind of brutal. The worst team ever to play this beautiful sport. And they're going to dictate 2 of the 6 playoff teams. I know that's not exactly how it works, but it also kind of is. Because the Seattle Mariners still have hope. And hope is a dangerous thing. They're at Houston for 3, and then they play 3 against Oakland. They have a 7% chance to make the postseason. They have 0 tiebreakers and are 2 games back. They blew a 5-run lead last night to be 1 game back. I would love to know what that would have done to their playoff odds. Would that have doubled it? Would it be 7-14? Would it be 7 to like 25%? Bryce Miller, Logan Gilbert, George Kirby, Luis Castillo, Brian Wu, all having great years. Fantastic years. Julio's going nuts. God, it's beautifully tragic. Seattle fans, you may not believe this. Buck the whole system. If these Central teams keep losing, find a way. It starts tonight. Bryce Miller versus Hunter Brown, Logan Gilbert versus Framber Valdez, and George Kirby versus Yusei Kikuchi. Really good pitching matchups. It's in Houston. I think Seattle's actually done well with Houston the past year or 2. But man, just feels like there's going to be a lot of woulda, coulda, shoulda out of Seattle again this year. Prove me wrong, Seattle. Go nuts. Because if you end up in the playoffs over one of those Central teams, you've now become arguably the third biggest threat in the postseason. The Yankees are legit. Houston is Houston until they're not. No one believes in the Guardians. It's just honest. Chris Rose, big sports guy, big Guardians guy, hasn't believed. It's a bunch of kids. Maybe it all clicks, maybe it doesn't. If the Seattle Mariners made the playoffs, I think they'd be like the third favorite to make it at this point because the Orioles are floundering. And if Seattle were to get in, that means they'd have to win 5 out of 6. And they have pitchers. They have so many pitchers. You know about it. I don't know. I have become a little unfortunately salty against Seattle because they need more hitting. And they traded away Eugenio and Teoscar. And those guys are hitting. Or is Teoscar just a free agent? Teoscar was a free agent, right?
He was a free agent, but they were not even thinking about it.
No. And I kind of get why, but I kind of don't. In the National League, tune in to Mets Bravos. They start tomorrow for 3 games as the Mets try to get rid of those Demon Braves, and they can. They are driving the bus. It's in Atlanta. I expect Truist to be rocking unless the Mets win the first game. They could really pop the balloon pretty quickly. God, if they won those first 2, that third game in Truist would be quite an interesting scene as the Braves try to fight for their lives. And they have in theory, it's in their hands. They're listed as a 40% chance to make the postseason. They would have to handle their business and quick. Chris Sale, I think, is supposed to be lined up to pitch in that the last game. We'll see. The Braves are not dead until the Braves are dead. They deserve the respect of the other teams. I know they're missing Ron and Spencer and some other pieces. Little monster Ozzie Albies just came back, only hitting righty. Pretty crazy. We're at that time of the year. Whatever it takes to win. God, if the Braves give the Mets the business, which normally that would be the expectation. If this is any other normal year or time of year or whatever, that's what we'd expect. The Mets are running on, I don't even know, grimace power. Their vagabond second baseman, who has a hit song of the summer, is playing out of his dome. They called up the Braves MVP's little brother, and he's been balling out. Their whole rotation feels like a reclamation project that's been reclaimed. Pete's balling, doing his thing. Nimmo's getting in the action. The Mets are fun. God, I hope they make the dance. If they have their balloon popped by the Braves yet again, cheese and biscuits. I don't know what you do. You can't. You almost can't. And I don't think they're gonna. I think if this was any other year, I'd be sitting here saying, like, it's going to happen, right? The Braves are right there. Haven't we seen this before? It just doesn't feel like that. And maybe that's naive. Maybe in a couple days I'll be disappointed in myself, but I really don't think so, man. The Mets have something in baseball that's hard to bottle up, and it just feels like a journeyman collection that's all coming together with youth or stars and Lindor, the youth and Vientos and Alvarez, the veterans. I mean, Marte, sneaky big-time old, 36. Maybe P. Alonso's last run with the team. It's exciting, man. Quintana's got a scoreless streak. Tyler McGill is back in pitching for them. Manaya's been incredible. Edwin Diaz, back-to-back big boy outings. It feels beautiful. I hope I'm not wrong in a couple of days, and ain't that the beauty of it? And maybe I will be, because I sat here 6 days ago, and I told you don't rule out Craig Kimbrell from the Orioles postseason plans. And as I pre-recorded that, the next day, Dirty Craig Kimbrell was out. You could say he did me dirty. I won't say that. I've seen a lot of people hype about Padres Dodgers. Maybe I'm missing it. It's a 3-game Dodgers lead. It's in LA. I guess they're lined up with King, Cease, and Musgrove that if San Diego brings the broomstick to the office, they would be tied with the Dodgers, and I think they'd have the tiebreaker if they win all 3 of these games. That Padres fans, I think, were a little mad we didn't talk about them more on Talkin Baseball. I don't know. I guess I just believe in the Dodgers so much.
Yeah.
Shohei 53 and 55. Mookie Betts is back.
For bookkeeping purposes, I think they do have the tiebreaker no matter what. They need to win all 3 to tie it.
Right.
For it to come into effect.
I mean, I guess, and hey, Padres fans, and maybe this is where I need to be more Delulu with you guys. I see 6-game road trip against the Dodgers and the Snakes, and I have you guys being more worried about dropping behind the Diamondbacks than catching the Dodgers. Maybe I'm off it. I know the Padres are a sexy World Series pick. I understand why. They've got arms on arms. Yu Darvish just broke another record, like 2,000 MLB strikeouts or something like that. Get him in the Hall of Fame, if not our Hall of Baseball when we make that. Hey, again, Padre fans, I'm willing to be. I would love to be proven wrong. But I see 6-game roadie Dodger Snakes. I'm thinking you guys need to be worried about holding off the Diamondbacks, not catching the Dodgers. It says they have a 9.2% chance to win the division. I've never been a numbers guy.
1 out of 10-ish.
Go nuts. Go nuts. Make baseball fun. Make the late nights fun. Because I think it's Braves, Mets, and then this would be the late night flip. Little Seattle, Houston in the mix. Watch a lot of baseball this week. That's what I ask of you. Even if it's one of those floundering Centrals teams in the 7th inning and it's a tied game, those are playoff level at bats. That's going to be your first taste of it. And we've been seeing some of it around the league. So I'm excited to go nuts on baseball this week.
The other side of that NL West hodgepodge before the D-backs Padres series we've been talking about for, it feels like a couple weeks now. The Dodgers have the Giants before that. They've been playing a better brand of baseball. They've basically split their games up till this point. So maybe that's part of what this Padres optimism is, because they've kind of had the Dodgers number this season so far. But there's a lot. It's a lot of factors there.
There's going to be a lot of dancing the next couple days, and that's the fun of it.
Great scheduling.
One at bat is going to swing one thing, and if you're the Royals, and you got to let those losses go and win 2, and then things are okay. But you need to do it. I'll tell you what. I say this every time, and there are some bad stats on this page too. The number 1 baseball team in on-base percentage, good. OPS, good. Runs scored, the best. The number 1 team in those 3 categories, Arizona Diamondbacks. And they have pitching options. I don't know if it's going to happen again. Yeah, I guess Padre fans be a little mad at me. I think the Snakes are chasing your buns this week. Prove me wrong. Go work the Dodgers. Make the whole NL West a disaster. But Erod, who just came off his season-high strikeouts. Brandon Pfaadt, who just had one of his best starts of the year. And Zach Gallen. That's who the Snakes are throwing at San Francisco as they try to win this thing out. God, yeah, I don't know. I'm skeptical. I'm skeptical of Dodgers Padres this week. Prove me wrong. Watch a lot of baseball. this is the week to start it. It's going to be a good practice round for next week. We're going to be streaming everything. I can't believe MLB postseason is here. What a run it's been. We're going to have to get Foolish on here at some point. He'll be all excited. Let's talk a little football because it was a fun one. Fun weekend. No Europe game. You guys know I'm getting excited for that. But we started in the Europe of America in beautiful Jersey at Jet Life, where the Jets hosted the Patriots. Rodgers and the boys, they've been showing more life. It's happening. But the Patriots, the big bad wolf, that's almost snuck out a 2-0 start to this season. 24-3. The Patriots did nothing. One of my buddies kept joking all week, or after Thursday. He started Ramondre Stevenson in fantasy, and he kept saying, hey, let me know when the Patriots play. 6 for 23 for Ramondre. Their offense did nothing. Drake May gets his first taste of the NFL, gets tossed around a little bit. Welcome to the league, young man. Drake May, I don't know if he's married. I'm going to assume he is, but he's dated the same girl since middle school.
I did see that.
Interesting. Little fun fact. Aaron Rodgers has not, but he looks solid in this one. 281, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Braylon Allen, your youngest guy in the NFL, as they remind you a lot on the broadcast. He looks solid in this, as does Breece's pieces. The Jets are here, man. They are fun. Rodgers is doing enough offensively. He is improving week over week over week. They host my Broncos, a game I've turned down tickets to twice now. And we'll talk about my Broncos in a second. It's also right before playoff baseball. Like, that sets just a bad tone coming up. And it's Sunday at 1. Like, I've got stuff to do. Anyways, Patriots, I think they're going to, they got excited a little bit. We're playing defense, new head coach. I think they want things, I don't want to say fall off the rails, but let's get Drake May in there without expectation, so hopefully you can start planning a next step of Patriots football. That was Thursday, which led us to Sunday. I was asked for a hot take Jake, for this NFL Sunday. I guess that's something we're posting on the socials every Sunday. My hot take, the Giants will get their first win. They sure did. You wouldn't have expected it after the first 2 plays. Kickoff, fumble, first pass, Deshaun, Amari, touchdown. Hello, the 0-2 Giants are down 7-0 on the road in Cleveland against a coach I like and a great defense. Unfortunately, the Browns are ass, and it is all coming. Whoa. They got to do something. They don't believe in Deshaun. Deshaun doesn't believe in Deshaun. Jameis is the backup right now, and things have to start getting tempting because although this kind of looked like it got close late, the Giants do get shut out in the second half. The Giants win 21-15. Malik Neighbors arrives. 2 touchdowns for the rookie. He looks incredible. Looks like he can kind of get open at will if Daniel can get him the ball. I think the disappointing thing for the Giants has to be last week. If they had a kicker, they win at Washington. And then they're 2-1. And how good does I shouldn't say how good does their 28-6 loss to the Vikings look? But it looks a lot better.
It's a lot easier to stomach in hindsight if you've won the 2 games since and Vikings keep winning besides that.
Minnesota beat San Francisco and Houston. They blow out Houston. Morley, not words, 34-7. I guess they play the Cowboys next week, who the Cowboys have kind of been hot ass. Let's see if the Giants can get back in the mix or keep the season afloat until they host Washington and Carolina. For a season that went from hopeless about a week ago. Hey, I think the Giants have a defense. I think Devin Singletary's an okay football player. I think Malik Neighbors might be a good football player. There's something. Don't be asked. They needed this to not be completely deflated on the year. Happy for them and the Talkin Giants guys. Let's see. Other things from around the league. Titans, I am very entertained by Will Levis, but oh my God. The bad plays just have to stop being so bad after a little bit. He's currently, everyone loves a player comp, Ryan Fitzpatrick. I know Fitzmagic by the end got more entertaining than not, and we'll talk about experience as a quarterback, Sam Darnold. But yeah, Will Levis is just making tragic errors. And I think the bigger thing is, dude, the Packers are doing this with Malik Willis, who had one of the worst performances of quarterbacks we've ever seen. It was like him and Nathan Peterman. Real ones know. Which just goes to show, and this was kind of one of the biggest takeaways from the weekend, which feels obvious, but it feels like MLB currently has, like if your team has a good analytics department and knows how to train pitchers, Milwaukee. I was going to say Tampa, the Guardians. We play defense. We scout a little better. You're going to be in a good situation. It feels like NFL, there's some good offensive coaches out there that it feels like Malik Willis, who, again, looks so bad, that LaFleur and them have him playing a really good brand of football. Six carries for 73 yards on the ground, 13 of 19 through the air for 202. Touchdown, no interceptions. So coaching feels more important than ever. Analytics in baseball feels more important than ever. And it feels like every team has the same information except the White Sox. And kind of the Rockies. Rockies, I get we have a really weird variable we need to figure out. But the other team plays in the same variable. I'm going to crack that code one day. White Sox, worst baseball team ever. Bailey wanted us to talk about it more. Here we are. Who's Bailey? Bears, Colts, kind of a no thank you. Caleb racks up a ton of passing yards, a couple bad mistakes. Him and AR5 was kind of a tough game to watch. Both these teams are 1-2 now. The Vikings, as I mentioned, they have become one of the stories of the NFL. I don't want to give myself too much credit. I've told you guys, football-wise, it's clearly not as much my bag as baseball, but I very much enjoy it. I told you I'd learn the Vikings coach's name because he won me over. Kevin O'Connell, man, this guy is a stud. Look what he's doing with Sam Darnold. And now the Darnold truthers are starting to rise up, which I'm not there yet. I think O'Connell's a great coach, which ties into everything we're talking about. But Darnold, we're starting to get the Darnold age tweets out there. Darnold is younger than Lamar Jackson. Darnold is a lot younger than Geno. Darnold is younger than Dak. The big one that everyone's jazzed up about, Sam Darnold is younger than Joe Burrow. So, everyone thought Sam Darnold was going to click at some point. When you start to look at his history of the Jets and the Panthers, I think that opens everyone's heart a little bit. And I just think the point of having a good coach and a good offense in today's NFL, if you got a quarterback that can stand in there, process it, and Darnold is doing that. And Justin Jefferson is a sick pup. How many times that guy was wide open? It's mind-blowing. It's the old Kelsey effect. Like, when it was just Kelsey and Mahomes, like for even a chunk of last year, and it was like, how does Travis Kelsey get open? He's the tight end you have to game plan for, but somehow he did. Justin Jefferson is in the same boat. There was times he was just running in space. And the Vikings roll up on the Texans. The other name that I want to get out there, because it's coordinator season, everyone was talking about Clint Kubiak from the Saints. Brian Flores, the old Dolphins head coach that him and Tua had their problems, everyone harps on that, and not enough people harp on the fact that the owner was actively trying to have them lose. Remember that? That story got buried a little quick. I think he's the best defensive coordinator in the league right now. And the Vikings are playing that way. And there was that weird Brock Purdy post-game interview where he told him that, and everyone was like, what was that, Brock? And I think me and Brock kind of look like each other sometimes. Did it on the YouTube. Subscribe over there, by the way, and thank you guys for doing that. Eagles-Saints was one of the big ones of the weekend. Did either team want to win? Did either team want to lose? The Eagles end up sealing it late. Dallas Goedert down to the one. Big play. It's always cool to see. That's kind of what football has, a third down, dictating the game. And not only is it a first down, it is the big play that was missing throughout this game. They punch it in. The Saints get it back. Carr throws an interception. The Saints really only had one other touchdown attempt. Rashid Shaheed, popular free agent, or popular fantasy play this week, I should say. He had one ball that Carr got there that he couldn't squeeze. That would have been a touchdown early to put this new prolific Saints offense up early. It doesn't happen. 15-12 final. The Eagles, in the most NFL way, they probably win a game they could have easily lost. After they lost the game, they should have easily won. A little bit of sanity in Philly, and their D-line played so much better. Jalen Carter had kind of done nothing the first couple weeks, and he dominated this week. The Eagles are back. I think they head to Tampa next week. That'll be an interesting matchup. Saquon is that guy, pal. Philly, run the ball. We'd be talking about a 3-0 Philly if they remembered they need to run the ball. I know you paid Jalen, but the play action, and the better you run it, the better it'll make him. He had a nice run in this game, too. Steelers, Chargers, you're 3-0 Pittsburgh Steelers. Absolutely. Russ is our starter. He's hurt. Here's Justin Fields. Does he know the playbook? The fun stat going around, I believe the Steelers' offense has 3 touchdowns through 3 games. And they have 3 wins. So defense still wins it in the NFL if you have a special defense. And they do. And Justin Fields is doing enough. Justin Herbert was in this game. He has to leave early. They didn't know if he was going to play. His ankle was pretty chewed up. Justin Fields, 25 of 32. 1 touchdown and an interception. He has a rushing touchdown in this game. I don't know, man. Again, think about the excuses we make for some coaches. I don't think Mike Tomlin is the offensive guru of a Kevin O'Connell, a LaFleur, a McVay. But look what he's doing with this team. Should we not be talking about the 0-3 Steelers with Justin Fields? Like, that could very easily be the conversation, and it is not. God, they are... keep TJ Watt healthy. Because 3-0 in that division. Right now, Baltimore's 1-2. Cleveland's 1-2. Cincy's 0-2, depending what they do tonight. That if they get enough ahead, they can just kind of waddle their way into the playoffs. And I'm glad, man. I hope this goes down as one of Mike Tomlin's cooler coaching jobs, because I think we all looked at Justin Fields and Russ as their quarterback situation, not as a good thing. And hey, Russ is collecting a pretty good paycheck, so I don't feel bad for him. Just watch it. You'll be okay. Would be interesting if Justin Fields is actually good. Add that to like the Bears quarterback curse thing. I'm not there yet, but he's like actually making some throws that NFL people like, which that would be an interesting plot twist if Caleb's development does not take off. Raiders Panthers is kind of a not really, except Andy Dalton had the best QB passing year of the season. So that shows you what NFL can have up his sleeve sometimes. I think he's the only 300 yards, 3 touchdown passing of the season so far. Against the Raiders, who they had a beautiful come-from-behind win at Baltimore last week. They lose to the Panthers. Antonio Pierce laying out the law, saying guys were making business decisions. A lot of eyes on Devontae Adams, who's kind of requested a trade, has requested a trade. Be interesting to see if something happens there. Tough for the Raiders, man. We should be talking about them 2-1. This is in Vegas. Brock Bowers stood out last week. Devontae was there. I started daydreaming as Minshew as this, weird 6-year Raider quarterback, just with all the hair and buy-in and moxie. And it feels like that's gone in 1 week. Speaking of, Dolphins were playing with their backup quarterback. They lose to the Seahawks, 24-3. The Seahawks are 3-0. Did you know? Didn't really. Denver, New England, and Miami with their backup quarterback. Not exactly murderer's row. One-score game to Denver and New England. Good for the Seahawks. New head coach there, new era. You know how I feel about Geno and the receipts. Dolphins. Let's see how much this spirals without Tua. Them and the Titans next week. Are there a lot of bad teams right now? I keep looking to open a team's schedule and be like, oh my God. Dolphins next 2 weeks, Tennessee and New England. So they might, after that, it's Indy. So Dolphins might be back, but they need something at quarterback. And Skylar Thompson had a rough day at the office. Ravens and the Cowboys. How about them? Cowboys looking to bounce back after getting embarrassed by New Orleans. The Ravens were 0-2. The Ravens came in, and they kind of dominated them until the end. I can't believe the final score is 28-25. A 19-point Cowboys fourth quarter and an onside kick recovery makes that a lot closer than it was. Quick math, 19 minus 25, 6. It was 28-6. I could have done that math a lot easier. Cowboys can't stop the run. Ravens can run. Sometimes it's kind of simple as that for your simple ass. Both these teams are 1-2. Ravens got to be feeling a lot better about it. They played, the Chiefs week 1 and then that weird Raiders comeback. While the Cowboys, they feel like they've got some serious issues after a dominant week 1 win over Cleveland. Giants-Cowboys is going to be fun, and I might be at the tailgate for that game this Thursday. Get ready. Exciting times. The 49ers and the Rams played one of the more fun games of the weekend. Niners go up 14-0. We looked up the numbers. I believe Shanahan was 9-4 against McVay. Jawan Jennings is balling out, replacing Debo was hurt in this one. McCaffrey's still out. Purdy was rolling. And the Rams slowly chip away and come back in this game. Matthew Stafford, old Silver Fox Matthew Stafford, is sneaky climbing the list of best quarterbacks in the league. It almost feels like Matthew Stafford outlasting that generation of Brady, Breeze, kind of Rodgers, Roethlisberger. Him outlasting them has flown him up the QB charts. If there's a guy you want in the ball in your hand late, it's Matthew Stafford. He's friends with Trev. Cool. Lions win 20-13. A little hook and ladder. Jahmyr Gibbs, Amon-Ra. Lions are back to 2-1. They feel a little grounded after that loss to Tampa. A nice road win against a solid Arizona team, who it felt like Marvin Harrison figured out and clicked last week. They rolled on the Rams last week. The NFL right now just has so much back and forth and motivation. And, I think part of the reason the Giants played their asses off yesterday is the difference between 1-2 and 0-3, changes your next 4 weeks. Let's compete and beat the Cowboys and get to 500 next week. 0-3 is your season's over. You're looking around at Daniel Jones this is it, huh? And I think we saw that from a lot of teams this week. Lions and Cardinals. It was interesting talking to some football people about that. They said the Cardinals are trying to build the same way, get physical. They've got a tight end they like. They got a wideout they like. But I'm interested to see where the rest of the Cardinal season goes. Washington next week, like that as a bounce back. At San Francisco, at Green Bay, and the Chargers. Okay, so that's a nice little stretch for them. We'll find out who the Cardinals are in a couple weeks because I still don't know. And it wraps up Sunday Night Football. Chiefs, Falcons. The Chiefs are 3-0. Another friendly pass interference call for them. This one was kind of worse. In the end zone, Kyle Pitts, who's grabbed the ire of my attention a few times before for fantasy reasons. Everyone's hated fantasy player Kyle Pitts, but that should have been called. And that would have been another late comeback drive by Kirk and the Falcons. And what would we be talking about? Or would Patty have let him back? Probably, because that's what he does. But that was a tough finish. And I know we got rid of the pass interference challenge thing, but that's tough to watch. I know in live time it's brutal, but that felt like it took a lot of the air out of the Falcons, who looked good and went toe-to-toe with the Chiefs. So maybe that is an internal win in a couple weeks, but let's check in on that in a couple weeks. Tonight, doubleheader, like I mentioned, the Buffalo Bills. They host the Jaguars in the 7:30 game. 2-0 against 0-2. Maybe I should listen to my motivational football stuff. But that being said, I did parlay Bills to win and Bengals to win. Because sometimes I think it's just simple as that and we overthink it. Bengals host the Commanders. Bengals are 0-2. Commanders are 1-1. Let's see Burrow and Allen ball out tonight. When will the Jaden Daniels breakout happen? Because I do believe in him, even though the Talkin Giants guys told me not to. And then are the Jaguars just heading to disaster class, or are we going to wake up with one of those weird NFL dubs today? Let's find out tomorrow. Make sure you guys have subscribed. Tell them about Uncle Dan, Beeps.
Talkin Jake is a production of Dan Patrick Productions, John Boy Media, and Workhouse Media.
Bong.